Hi, this is Rosemary Friedman reading my poem, Haberdashery and Henry Learn to Cook. Macaroons with macadamia combined with malted milk would go with academia like linen goes with silk. A party for professors Mandolin and Mandalay and a scientist named Edelweiss was just a day away. Haberdashery and Henry watched old Emerald for an hour, but could not settle on confections, though they knew they needed flour. When they went into the grocery with a cookbook in their hand, they were astounded by the art of food, especially marzipan. They loaded up a colander and cheesecloth and some parchment, and then they headed straight away to the confounding meat department. There were cold cuts, chickaroons, alligator, and chorizo, chicken, mutton, haggis, and shrimp chili relleno. They could serve the Norway lobster or the seasoned Bombay duck. There was so much there to choose from, they weren't having any luck. There was twice-baked tutti frutti with a turnip toffee paste, a tomatillo hot tostada, and with little time to waste. Henry got excited and a lady made a scene in the 5B cater aisle filled with all nouvelle cuisine. Kakaliki sounded awesome with a side of marjoram, or a tiny Chinese cabbage stuffed in a honey-coated ham. They could caramelize an amuse-bouche or serve chicken a la king, maybe morel muesli mushu with a zest of lemon zing. Henry liked the drop scone dumpling with a side of darjeeling, with a high-powered hibachi. They could really do their thing. Pressure cooker, infuser, poacher, grill, avocado, portobello, and pierogi stuffed with gill, chokeberry and gooseberry, orange-flavored pico, bay leaf biryani with a light oregano, mascarpone masala with a lychee-flavored lard, jicama lime pie julep with a gratin that was hard, baba ganoush in toad in the hole, cooked in wine lined clay tureen, like something served at cordon bleu, asparagus, aubergine. Mesquite Jordan almonds with a Gouda fermentation, served on the double broiler and an inescapable temptation. Enoki Béarnaise, brie-filled cabriolet, cacciatore, casserole, they won't know what to say. Of the culinary stylings with a cocoa canapé, and a marshmallow-flavored compote, and a penne that's al dente. Cascabel and choucroute garni, collard coleslaw, pizza gooey, coquette marinated macaroni with a side dish of chop suey, papaya, oolong, gyro, nacho, olio margarine, and gazpacho. They rented out a sailboat to catch fresh fish and clean it, to show their friends they love to cook and try to really mean it. Fuju, which is poisonous, is not prepared correctly. If you get sick after eating it, dial 911 directly. Frittata with a frappe topped with lots and lots of fraise would make everybody happy and would bring them lots of praise. Vinegar balsamic with feathered on poultry peas, and a pita stuffed popover and a roll of Portuguese. Crumpet and zephyr bar, chapati and grisani, served with semolina 7-grain lavash topped hot crostani. They rode inside an Amish buggy just to get fresh pumpkin bread and took a detour at a funeral, Uncle Clement, who was dead. Fenugreek falafel with a farmer cheese farina and an effervescent egg cream emulsed with turkey tetrazzini. Olibon, sapapilla, pizzelle, puff, and zeppoli. Devil's food cake served with double cream and apple cider tea. Lots of dressing served with pine nuts and a case of dandelion greens. Cutlets made with gizzard and a side of fava beans. Tripe and wedge bone sirloin, sweetbread, steamboat round, spleen and shoulder, ribeye, riblet, just some of the cuts they found, along with brains and butt and butterfly, salt pork, rib tip and saddle, oxtail, neck, loin, and liver, all from pork, poultry, and cattle. Crumbly brownies, ladyfingers with a hard as rock biscotti, served with condensed milk and sweet cream and a hot coffee colossi. Chafing dishes, celery seed, cayenne, and cauliflower, cardamom, and carob pod would give them cooking power. In the deli section, the ladies' words were highfalutin. Haberdashery was happy as it masked the sound of Henry Putin. Turtle soup or minestrone, matzo balls and mayonnaise, Waldorf salad, mulligatawny with a side of bouillabaisse. They had to get the perfect wine, not Merlot or Cabernet, so they flew real quick to Italy on tickets from eBay. Jambalaya and pandowdy, Marengo pufferfish, frangipani or the fatback, how to settle for just one dish. Pancetta, teppanyaki, tartare tea cake, tangelo. Keji, kheer or kipper with a side of Kaiser roll. Frisée, fondant, flapjack, étouffée or escargot. Finger foods, drawn butter with scalloped finocchio. Coriander, coq au vin with crinkled crepe Suzette. They'd find the perfect menu. They had not found it yet. They stopped by Happy Hippies for some herbs that were organic, and they both caught poison ivy, which caused them both to panic. Tamarind tamale with tandoori tapenade, gruel with guacamole and a gorgonzola L, or couscous flavored crayfish with a parmigiana tail. A hummus served with giblets and gefilte fish gnocchi. They could serve it with a record on and dance the hokey pokey. Corn pone with a kumquat pie and nasturtium langostini, with a side of marinara and a toothpick with a weenie. Basmati in a beggar's purse, battered, baked, fried, or basted. They were planning just the perfect meal that anyone had tasted. They realized demonstration was a component, as was plating, so they took a cooking lesson to receive a real high rating. Belgian waffle, Belgian endive, grouper, gumbo served at high tea, with an Earl Grey and a crumpet served with jelly that was fat-free. Just as they were almost home, they passed a bride and groom, and realizing they'd forgotten rice, they quickly grabbed a broom. Gravenstein and Gruyere with a side of Melba toast, topped with high-priced caviar, would be what their guests would like most. When they got home with their bags and pans, they had shopped 8 different places and had filled up a whole U-Haul full to cover all their bases. When their guests arrived, they'd be prepared for any wish. But their guests requested comfort food served on a paper dish. Haberdashery had had no sleep. In fact, he'd gotten stubble. Henry almost fainted when they said, "Don't go to any trouble." Professor Mandolin, who'd just been on an Everest expedition, claimed, "There's one thing that I have to have. It's a post-climbing tradition." He went into the kitchen, and with a smile big as you please, he came out 5 minutes later with fried bologna and grilled cheese. You can't judge books by their covers. It's a lifelong violation. And you can't judge a professor based just on his dissertation. Haberdashery felt he'd let them down, and Henry had grown pouty, till their guests raised a toast to the world's best friends and a feast summa cum laude.